these immune complexes. One of them is systemic lupus erythematosus. Individuals produce antibodies that attack their own cells, and these immune complexes accumulate in the skin and the body organs. With lupus, patient might get a butterfly rash across their nose and cheeks, as well as damage to organs such as the spleen and kidney. My sister-in-law has, oh no, she doesn't. She has an instrument coming. So all these first three, you can see, have antibodies that are associated with it. Second one, example is rheumatoid arthritis. The immune complexes, the antibodies are IgM and IgG, and complement, form in the joints, and then they cause damage to the cartilage and the bone. Glomerular nephritis is an immune complex condition that causes inflammatory damage to the kidney glomeruli. That's where the blood gets filtered in the kidney. So up on the top is showing you the butterfly rash that's typical of lupus. And down here is showing damage that can happen from rheumatoid arthritis. Now we don't see this a lot now because of the medications that they have. My sister-in-law has rheumatoid arthritis, and you can't tell anything by her joints because she's on, I can't remember which one she's on. Can't hear you. Oh, I don't know, because she was on one where she, I believe, injected herself at home, and now insurance has decided that they're not covering home injections, and so now she has to go. I think they had to change it. She has to go in, and they do that where they have fuse it into her for a period of time.
I'm sorry. I see diabetes is on there. How does that work?
Where?
It's on, or it says arthritis and then it says diabetes on the mom's grouping.
Oh, diabetes. That yeah, that's in the book too. It's like type 1 diabetes is what they're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Type 4 is delayed cell-mediated reactions. And this is the one then we said is associated with the T cells. So it's primarily due to this T cell proliferation. So it's a delayed cell mediated reaction, so you're not going to see effects maybe for 24 to 72 hours after exposure to the antigen, because the T cells have to get sensitized to it and, you know, make clones, so it takes a little bit of time. Reaction on re-exposure to the antigen. There's memory, at the same time that the T cells are making clones, they're making memory T helper cells. And those remember the antigen and they release cytokines, and that causes tissue damage. And the cytokines also then recruit and activate the macrophage. So hypersensitivity is accompanied by accumulation of the T cells in the skin and overactivity of the cells against the foreign antigen. So the T cells begin to attack the body cells And then the results are drying of the skin with reddening and scaling. An example of this is the tuberculin skin test. So they take some part of, the bacteria that causes that. We work with the genus, not the species, but Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It's injected into your skin, under your skin, and they're looking. You have to wait a day or two before you go back and have it read, and then they're looking for an inflammatory reaction, and that would indicate that you either have a active case of tuberculosis, or you had a case of tuberculosis in the past. Even if you don't have it now, you'd have a positive tuberculin skin test. Allergic contact dermatitis, usually caused by haptens that combine with proteins in the skin. And these develop after exposure to antigens. I'm sure many of you have some sort of this. I get sensitized to if I try a new product for my face or something. It never bothers you when you first try it. As you keep using it, you become sensitized to it, and you get that red scaling itching on your skin. So you can develop dermatitis against clothing, coins, cosmetics, furs, copper, latex, like latex gloves, condoms. Those are, latex is a good one. I don't wear latex gloves anymore because they bother me. Went to NyQuil. And poison ivy is also a type of contact dermatitis. Cell-mediated autoimmune diseases. One of them is multiple sclerosis. My son was just diagnosed with this in the last 3 or 4 years. This is where the T cells and the macrophages attack the myelin sheath that surrounds the nerve cells. It is a slow, progressing disease that may lead to paralysis. In this case, if you looked at him, you wouldn't know he had it. But also, if you go in for an MRI, you're going to see these plaquings in your brain for sure, and then sometimes it goes down to your spinal column. The history of it, supposedly, are mostly white young adults living in northern latitudes, and women are twice as likely to come down with MS as males are. Insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus is caused by T cell destruction of the insulin-secreting cells in the pancreas. These are all cell-mediated reactions. Psoriasis, itchy red patches of thickened skin, and the T helper cells are involved in that. 25% of the patients that have psoriasis develop what's called psoriatic arthritis. The human leukocyte antigen complex, the histocompatibility antigens that are located on cell surfaces, and those express genetic differences among different